Hi, welcome to Paint or Paint. My name is Ross, and today I want to show you a quick exercise that will help you improve your drawing skills. In this video, we'll learn all about a practice exercise that we can use to improve the quality of our line work, help us build confidence in our drawing skills, and help us draw faster. It's really an easy exercise, as all we're going to do is draw boxes. But the focus really isn't about drawing boxes, it's about the lines we make in order to draw those boxes. What we're going to focus on is how we draw those lines and look for ways to make things easier. Okay, let's get started. First, let me explain what we're going to do. To do this exercise, you'll need your sketchbook or some paper. So go ahead and get your sketchbook out or find some paper to draw on. Then you'll need a pencil. I'm using a graphite pencil for this exercise. If you happen to have a set of artist graphite pencils, it doesn't really matter the grade you're using, but I'm going to use a 2B in this demonstration. Really, any pencil will do. With that, we're ready to draw some boxes. And all we need to do for this practice exercise is draw lots of boxes on each page in our sketchbook. We want to draw each box small enough to fit several boxes on the paper. Depending on the size of the sketchbook or the paper, 10 to 20 boxes per page is really a good range to aim for. As you start drawing your boxes, you'll have a couple of options. You can draw the same box over and over, or you can draw different shaped boxes as seen from different angles, or you could do a combination of both. For example, if you want, you could start by drawing several examples of the same box, then switch to draw a different looking box after you feel comfortable drawing that first example. Then you could practice that second box for a bit before moving on to drawing a new box. Whatever you decide to do here is fine. What is most important is that you are drawing many different boxes using this technique. But when making that decision, do consider this. Consider that by changing up the look of the boxes, we give ourselves the chance to practice drawing lines from different angles and at different sizes. So eventually you should be mixing up the shapes and perspectives of the boxes, as this will give you the most practice. Okay, let's talk about what we should focus on when drawing each box. When we draw the box, we will draw each edge of that box using one single line. Draw the line in one quick motion. Plan where you'd like that line to go, and then aim to draw it there. Don't worry if it doesn't go exactly as you planned. Until you get the hang of it, it often won't. Here we're practicing the mechanics of the motion and training ourselves to move the pencil in new ways, and there will be times where things don't work out because we're new to this. Because the lines may not go exactly where we want them to go, we might be tempted to hatch out the line to get exactly the line that we want, and we need to avoid this temptation. What I mean by this is we don't want to create one line by sketching out many little lines. This defeats the goals of this exercise because we're relying on movements we're already familiar with and reinforcing habits we're already familiar with rather than testing out new techniques and approaches. So remember to draw each line in one motion or in one stroke. Next, as you draw each edge, practice aiming from one corner of the box to the other corner with that line. However, if you have to make a correction to line up the edge properly, you can redraw that line over the old line. That's okay. Redrawing just gives you the chance to practice it some more, almost like a do-over. I wouldn't even worry about erasing. This is going to give you better control over the pencil. Basically, what you're doing is practicing movements, and after a while, those movements will begin to feel easier to do. It's kind of similar to dancers practicing a dance routine. The more they practice their movements, the less they have to consciously think about the action, and they'll be able to perform with ease and confidence. Now, the reason I suggest that we should draw boxes is that we're giving ourselves a reason to practice drawing lines that point in different directions on the page. We could just practice by drawing a bunch of lines, but this doesn't really challenge us as much as drawing a box because the box requires us to consider the angle at which we move the pencil. As we practice, we can also think about how we hold the pencil. For example, a question we can ask ourselves is it better to hold the pencil under the palm of the hand or resting in the web between the thumb and the index finger? The answer to that will apply differently to different situations. There are advantages to the different ways we can hold the pencil. This practice will just help us figure out which way to hold the pencil works best for the different directions we want to draw a line. Speaking of which, we can also think about how we move the pencil. In regards to this, there are some more questions we could ask ourselves. For example, do we move the pencil from left to right, right to left, top to bottom, bottom to top? Do we push the pencil or do we pull the pencil as we draw the lines? Really what we're doing here is we're looking for which way is easier to draw that line or which way will give us a better quality line. Now, the answer to these questions will vary depending on the situation, but after practicing a while, you'll begin to see what works for you in these different situations and incorporate what works for you into your drawing habits. We can also practice applying different amounts of pressure to the pencil as we draw. It is by applying different amounts of pressure that we can create lighter or darker lines with the same pencil. This, in and of itself, makes the exercise worthwhile. Being able to vary the amount of pressure we apply to the pencil will make the pencil a much more versatile tool. Don't worry about shading in this exercise. You can if you want, but that's not really the goal here. We're just practicing line work in this exercise. That's it. That is the exercise. The more you practice this type of line work in an exercise like this, the easier it will be to draw in your actual drawings. This exercise will also help you improve the quality of your line work in your drawings, as the practice will help you create more confident, fluid line work. And this exercise will help you speed up the time it takes to draw. This is because you'll be making less movements and less marks to draw a single line compared to before you were doing this exercise. You'll also gain more control over how you use this pencil, as you'll be able to adjust your grip and create a wider range of movement as you look to create a particular line or move the pencil in a particular direction. And finally, with this type of exercise, you'll improve your ability to control the pressure sensitivity of the pencil, being able to create both darker and lighter lines with the same type of pencil. And that's it. This is really a fun and easy exercise, so I suggest you try it out. If you really haven't drawn boxes and you'd like to learn how before doing this exercise, please watch the drawing boxes video. I've added a link above and in the comments section below. After practicing a while, you will see improvements. Let me know how it goes after you've done this, and if you have any questions, please feel free to ask.